I also got feedback yesterday, since yesterday's update was 9 minutes, that a number of people logged on late and they went, did you have the town hall? So today will be somewhere probably about that length of time. Um, I am going to hand the details over to Kris because things now have gotten more technical, and I feel like that she probably, I don't think probably, she would explain it better. And I'm just go for it.
Sure. So I'm here to share the top 10, which is actually only top four issues with everybody today. So number one, kicking off with outbound fax not being received. So this is affecting a lot of our outpatient clinics, some of our outpatient areas. We worked hard overnight. Mark was here late. Chanel, Sarah Malone was on the line, and we got a number of faxes working, but we are still working through the list. So if you are still not receiving faxes, please continue to put in your ticket. I shared an email on how to test your fax self. So that is kind of a self-help guide. But no, we're working through that issue. The next one, and Dan's going to talk a little bit about our charge champions here in a moment, but the emergency department charge capture coding backlog. And this just means that some of our visits need to be coded within a number of days, and we are now entering those number of days of the live. So we're paying attention to that coding backlog right now. Provider dictionary billing issues. This would stumble upon as we started billing out. And there's a number of providers that just need their records updated to be able to be billing providers in our system. And Jessie and her team and Joni are working through any of those issues. But again, a plug for our business office is working really hard to collect our money. And then the last issue, again, only four, this one pertains to long-term care, and it's the continuation of the Pharmaerica orders and the NDC mismatches. And what that just means in simple terms is that Pharmaerica manages our long-term care medications, and they have a different formulary. I think Dan used a suppository example over the weekend. You did. But a capsule versus a tablet might be a little easier to comprehend.
When you need a suppository, you need a suppository. Okay, we're all in medicine here.
But yeah, that is actually a real example, is that a capsule was ordered instead of a tablet, and we don't have something in a capsule form. So that's continuing on as we go along. We're expecting probably 4 to 5 more issues to percolate today. So we'll give you the top 10 next week, and that will be also pushed out by Elena, who's doing our wonderful updates every day. So thanks, Elena. Back to you, Dan.
That was pretty. See how fast that was? Because when your top 10 is 4, that's really good. Now, I don't want to pretend that there aren't a lot of little items that, if they're affecting you, aren't little items. We've struggled with, we've had still some persistent issues with anesthesia charting. We've had some, I think most of the Dragon voice recognition has gotten resolved, but there are still some persistent things. But our top priorities are one that are more widespread and that they also are affecting patient care. So we are digging through tickets. I believe we're up to, I think it was 3,800 tickets yesterday, all in, and we're about 65%, somewhere in that ballpark. Cleanup or resolution rate. Would like rather it be around maybe 70, 75, but still working through that good enough. I did ask for a grade of how we've done, because we always like to grade ourselves. So I was remiss yesterday. I didn't give a grade. I actually signed off one turn. I didn't give a grade. But yesterday we had internal debate. It wasn't 100% agreed upon, but we are going to make a command decision. It was a B. So yesterday was a B. Day before yesterday was a B. And then yesterday we went back and forth a little bit, and we did have a consensus, except I think one person, that it was a B. So we have had an A minus, a B minus, a B, and a B. Okay, so what does that mean in the big picture thing? I think everyone should be pleased in how we are doing so far. This, by the way, is a little test. Can you keep talking while you clean up coffee? And the short answer is yes, I can. But in all seriousness, I remember yesterday when we were going over our list and specimens were still on it, and we were a little frustrated, and it was like, I said, let's keep it in perspective. Our number one issue is specimen label printing. Okay. So in the big picture of all the stuff that's going on with Epic, all the millions of things, and literally it probably is a million interactions that are happening on the system, we've avoided any major issues with showstoppers. And that's not a small thing. And that's why I think, having some A's and B's for the days as they go by is something to be proud of. I do want to put some acknowledgments out there. And when I do that, I have to be careful because there's no way I can acknowledge everyone. So each day I'm going to try to just notice a few people. But the clinics have, this was very new for them and definitely impacting their all their workflows. There was a ton of work before we even went live, and then when we went live, so Shayna and Tara and Brad and Kelsey and Lisa and many of certainly our providers who had to learn a new system, and we didn't reduce patients that much. We kept seeing patients. And to do that and also learn the system is a big chunk of work. And I know we created a lot of stress that I think is worth it, but I also want to acknowledge that everybody did a ton of work and effort to make this be a good first 4 or 5 days. So thank you. We still have a ton more to do. I think one of the things I did want to mention was this whole idea of capturing charges. This is new for us. In the Meditech system, we didn't do a whole lot of charging while we documented. We did a lot on the back end. So Epic is very much a system where you capture your charges as you document, and some of it is behind the scenes. You don't even know what's happening as you're typing away. But there are things where you actually have to select, scan yellow stickers and do these things to make sure that these items get on our bill and we can get paid for them, which pays for you and all of the infrastructure we need to do our mission. So it's not a little thing. You're going to probably get sick of hearing about revenue capture, but you're going to hear it and hear it and hear it, because this is one of the ways that we felt that this new system would help us and help the mission. And the system is very expensive, and it's one of the ways we're paying for it. So for all these reasons, you'll be getting a lot of attention on charge capture. We also know that because it's quite new, that we still have gaps in educating and explaining our line staff and even some of our managers and others exactly what it is in their area they're responsible for and how to do it. We did some preliminary, but because the system wasn't live, it was really hard to show. But now that we have data and patients in, we think we can actually very effectively show it. So you're going to see more of that in the next over the next week to get everyone trained up, and then you'll start getting reports, and we can see how well you're doing your part in the department to help us get revenue. So just kind of teasing that out there so it's not a surprise for anyone, or why they quote doing all this attention on charges. Well, this is part of the reason. So big focus over the next week or so. As far as this meeting goes, we're kind of running out of a lot to cover. So we're going to wait till next Wednesday, and we'll do how did the weekend go, and also we have that holiday on Tuesday. Now, if things get a little weird, a little hinky, the weekend, we run into stuff, we'll just schedule one at 11:30 for Monday, but I think Wednesday will be good. We can see how the weekend went. We can see how our charges went, and if some of these issues that we've identified, if we've gotten them cleaned up and taken care of. Got to close with our lovely reminder. Still important, put in your tickets, please. It lets us know if we got new problems cropping up or if we fixed old ones. If you have some tickets, often you'll get a response and they will ask you, hey, has this been resolved? So if you have a moment, resolve the ticket. It helps us get it off the queue, and we know that you're satisfied with the response. This is your way, or one of the ways to help us have a really good rollout here, is to put in your tickets and help us make the system better. Anything to add to that?
No.
Okay. No more free food or free anything, because we're just cheap. So you don't get anything till Wednesday. Actually, I don't think you do. But our next free food and stuff we'll do is on Wednesday and so forth. And we do have some extended hours for the weekend for all our folks who are working through and covering and so forth. But I hope you guys have a really good day today and tomorrow. And thank you for everything you do. Aloha.